Shalom, my brothers and sisters in faith. Today I will share two dreams about what is coming. It was last week. In a dream, I was in a class, and I know heavy raining sound from outside. And I opened the window. I saw massive giant. They were all naked, and their height is nearly the building size. So tall, so big. They're all naked, and their skin color is dark green, and they all gathered together. They are holding together. They gathered together because God poured down the rain. Because of the flood, the heavy raining, they were gathered together to keep their temperature, and they look terrified and really scared. On the heavy rain, they gathered together, facing God's judgment. And then when I look inside the class, and I felt I have to speak the truth, what is coming. And then I spoke to students, spoke to those people inside the class. Time is coming. Lord is coming. The time will be like Noah's time. And no one really listened to me. About 20 people in a class. And then two girls came to me. They want to know more about what is coming. So I gave them Book of Jasher. At the moment, I've been reading. I gave them Book of Jasher, a Book of Enoch, and then there's another Korean girl came to me. So I gave her another Book of Heaven, and that was a dream. I never seen giant. They are huge. They are like a building, the tall building. Their size is tall building. And I got reminded of Noah's time. And Jesus said, the time when I return will be like Noah's time. So in Noah's time, God judged those giants. Fallen angel. Those angels God sent as watchers, 200 watchers. There are 20 leaders of 200 watchers. Those 20, the leading angels, they decided to take the beautiful woman of flesh. They know it will make God upset, but they can't stop themselves. So they defy themselves with the women of men, and they fell from the holy life because God created them holy. Their angels are holy. They saw God's holiness. They saw God's glory. They know God created them. God created heavens and earth. They know God so much. They know they don't need a face because they saw it. But they defy themselves, and they can't return because when they took the women from woman become pregnant, they gave a birth to giant. So this history, what they made mistake, they can't turn back because the seed, they defy themselves. They are not anymore holy angels. And Holy Spirit, those holy angels met woman with flesh, made giant, those descendants of giant, they are evil spirit, so that they defile themselves with ungodliness and disobedience, so that even if they were crying and weeping because they defile themselves, they asked God forgiveness, they were weeping, but they don't have a chance to return. They don't have a chance to get forgiveness from God, because they already knew the God's sovereignty. They knew God's power, but they disobeyed. When we disobey, when we sin against Holy Spirit, we have a chance until our last breath. But those angels who defile themselves with the flesh, with the woman, they can't return. So those giants in our Bible called them Nephilim. And when you read book of Enoch, you know all those story, the details of the Genesis chapter 6 came out in one book. So I've been reading book of Enoch as well. So Enoch said, "Who are wise? Those who humble themselves. They are wise people." That's what he learned through his journey of the righteousness. So that Enoch, he was taken to heaven many times. He saw the throne of God. He saw so many places of heavens. He wrote in his book. And in the end of his life, about 300 years he lived on earth, he was taken to heaven without taste of the death. So why Lord showed me the giant, huge giant, gray, the green, dark green skin colors. When you see book of Revelation chapter 16, Saint John, he saw, verse 12, when 6 angels poured out his bowl, God's bowl of wrath, when he poured out on the great river of Euphrates, its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. So who are those kings from the east? From Israel, east. It could be Russia, it could be Iran, it could be China. Those kings will invade Israel through river Euphrates. So Euphrates are dried now. We saw all those documentary. So that he saw 3 impure spirits that looked like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. So they looked like frogs. Frogs and snake, they are fallen angel. They are same. The image what Saint John saw. So these Satan, fallen angel, they are real. The spiritual body have higher density than our flesh. That's why Jesus, he went through the wall, and after his resurrection, he spoke to his disciple, touched my flesh, and he ate fish in front of them, because the his spiritual body is solid. higher identity than our flesh means these fallen angels also real. That's why they took women, they had sexual relationship, and they gave a birth to giant. Those, I believe, those place is Euphrates means where's Eden. Eden is south of Mesopotamia. Now there's Iraq, Iran. Those area is ancient place God chose for Adam and Eve. So I believe those foreign angels, they are underneath, so that when St. John saw chapter, I think it's 9, he saw a star. Chapter 9, fifth angel sounded his trumpet. He saw a star had fallen from the sky to the earth. The star was given the key to the door of the abyss. Then he opened the abyss. Smoke rose from it like the smoke from the gigantic furnace. The sun and sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss. And he saw the leader of the fallen angel, the king over them, the angel of the abyss, whose name is in Hebrew Abaddon, in Greek is Apollon, that is destroyer. So I believe those fallen angel was bound in chain underneath, because God kicked them out. They lost their position from heaven. God kicked them out from the heaven. They were under the earth, the place of abyss. And the time is coming. The star means angel. The angel, God sent the angel to open the door. The time after Jesus returned, after Jesus take his bride from the earth, the time of the judgment, the door will open. And when door open, those fallen angels will come out from abyss. They will destroy. They have a short time on earth, and they are preparing through their people who worship them, so that these giants in my dream, Lord said, the time when I return will be like time of Noah, means in Noah's time, the fallen angel changed human DNA. Fallen angel defiled themselves with the flesh, so that the giant, God didn't create them. God said even their baby, they were even little baby, they were evil in God's eyes. So that those fallen angels, they are using satanic people. They disorder our God's creation. We are His creature. God, they will distort, they will disorder our DNA, our God's creation. These things only when Lord revealed to His chosen people can only recognize the time, but most Christians cannot see what is coming, what is actually happening now. So that that's that kind of time we are living in. and Lord preparing His chosen children through revelation. Without revelation, we can't recognize the time when those Israel, when they were in the middle of the 7 years of famine, they have a shortage of food, they have inflation, but Lord spoke through Elisa, tomorrow around this time, God will feed you. You will have enough food. But those leaders of Israel, king and his servant, his officials, they didn't receive the food because they were afraid to go in the tent of enemy, because God gave illusion to their Israel enemy, those armies of Aram, so that they fled away. They left everything in their tent, gold and silver, food and clothing, everything they left, and they fled. So that God gave illusion to our enemy, and God, we don't even need to go for a battle. All the battle belong to our God, and God fed Israel through the revelation of Elisa's time. Similar way, in this generation too, Lord give us revelation so that we know those satanic people's scam, what are they doing. They can't hide from God's eyes because God sees what are they doing. So that during the time of Elisa, the king of Aram, he said, how do they know whenever he chose the place to attack Israel already defended. How do they know where the place I'm going to attack? And officials said, there's Elisa in Israel. So Israel was blessed by the Lord, because the Lord sent his prophet Elisa, because Elisa know what you are talking about in your bedroom, because God revealed to Elisa. God see what satanic people doing, because fallen angels, they are using satanic people who worship them, who worship money. So Jesus said, you can't worship two masters, money or God. You worship God, the order, we love God more. But if we put money first, even if we are Christian, you worship Satan. Money, when you follow money, that's the satanic people. They worship money, and when you worship money, you become blind. You can't see revelation. You can't hear God's wisdom. So the Lord revealed this generation is the generation will see the glory of Lord's return. So that when worldly leaders talking about climate change, they will use this climate change as a method of control. When enemy, the World War II and also Russia as well, when they use food as a weapon, that's illegal. Also, that's the way how they control people in North Korea and communism. They control food. That's the way they control people. Because without food, how we can survive? That's the last desire as a human. Without food, we can't survive. So that the food shortage, we are facing this food shortage. We are facing this gas bill. We have to pay 3 times more than before. And gonna be dark winter, cold winter. We are facing all sort of inflation, all sort of problem. But we already had experience of pandemic. How God delivered us. How God delivered us from the virus. God will deliver His chosen disciples, His chosen children. God will deliver them who put God first before money, before success, before worldly desire. So do not fear, because the fear will when fear take over, you become slave of the world. You become slave of the death. That's the way when time comes, people will receive 666 because of fear of death. So that Lord give His children, true children, His chosen children, revelation, so that we will know where's the food, we will know where's His blessing, where's His help. We follow His dream of revelation. We follow His voice, His wisdom. We follow Him, because even if they use climate change as a method to control people, we know God is shaking. God is shaking these heavens and earth at the end of time. There will be various places. There will be earthquake. There will be famine, starvation, food shortage. There was inflation in the time of Elisa. So we are facing this problem, but we don't listen the worldly king's decision, because God will judge them, all those kings of nation. God will judge them at the end. So God created heavens and earth. As a Christian, think God can recreate the earth. St. John saw, he wrote in Book of Revelation, he saw new earth coming down. God restored us after His judgment. And then we are entering 1,000 of His kingdom, so that we can worship this earth. This earth going into darkness, because sun is darkening. That's the last sign. Jesus said, at the last day, the last sign is sun become dark, moon become blood, and star will fall from skies. That's the last sign. So when we understand His revelation, we don't fear facing this shaky earth with sudden flood, earthquake, volcanoes, hurricane. We don't have fear, because we know we have to go through. And when I check 2022, from September, Israel enter New Year 5783. So 5783 is the first year of 7. So in Israel, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 15, every seventh year, within 7, every 7th year, you have to cancel the debt. You have to cancel their debt who owe your money, and release slave, release Hebrew servant. After 6 years of labor, 7th year, you have to let them let them go, set them free, unless they want to work for you. And also, seventh year, lay the land to rest. So that God said, I will give you 2-3 times more harvest during 6 years. So seventh year, do not work in the farm, do not plant seed, rest. So God is looking after this land. We violated His law. This earth cannot produce food, and fruit, and every year they can't push this earth. We violated His law. So every 7th year, He looks after this land for us, for our food. That's God's law. Every seventh year. So 7th year is resting this land, and then 7 times 7. 5th year, after 7 times 7, so 49 years gone, and next 5th year is Jubilee. So God have a plan for His children. So every Jubilee, those property we buy from the poor people, they sold their body, their life as a slave because they don't have money, and they sold their property. But every Jubilee, the owner who purchased the property from the poor, they have to return the property. That's our God of Israel. We worship, we follow His law. So when I see the year 2022 now, we are in first year of 7. That means when I read the Jewish news, they believe, Jews believe, Messiah is coming first year of 7th. I didn't know. I learned from their channel this week. So they are actually really awake to meet the Messiah. And then I saw another Israel news headline said, Israel rabbis, they already had a meeting with the Messiah. So what does that really mean? So that I wonder if the Messiah is the one Saint Paul saw. He wrote in 2 Thessalonians, he said, when you see Antichrist rise, it could be Antichrist, it could be a false prophet. If Jewish people, if those rabbis believe the man, they had already several meetings. If they believe the man as a Messiah, then the man is false prophet, I believe, because Jesus is only Son of God. Jesus is their Messiah. They ignored, they didn't recognize. So that how close we are when we see those signs of sun, signs of this climate change, signs of the rumor of war, World War III, and false prophets in Israel, so that we really know what time it is in heavenly clock. And on I had another dream on Monday after a long reading of His Word on Sunday. And in the dream, I was tearful because when I often pray, Lord, show me part of the heaven. Really want to see some part of the heaven. Please take me to travel. That's so beautiful garden. In the dream, I just know myself as apple trees. I saw beautiful apple trees in the garden. And I was tearful because so beautiful, the color, the light. And then I look up apple tree in the Bible, and I found this Song of Songs. So this Salami, this woman, she sang this song like an apple tree among the trees of forest. Is my beloved one among the young men. I delight to sit in his shade. His fruit is sweet to my taste. Strengthen me with raisins, refreshed me with apples, for I am faint with this love. The Lord showed me His apple tree. He invited me to His apple tree to sit down under His shade, and I taste His sweet apple. He refreshed me because I'm faint. I am faint with His love. The Lord chose you to declare what is coming, to declare He is coming, so that we prepare ourselves, we prepare our family, friends and neighbors. God bless you. See you next time. Bye.